Hello everyone and welcome to Power Rangers Stories. Here I bring you the untold and what could have been stories. So sit back, relax and get ready to listen to some more phenomenal adventures. Also don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to get notifications on the latest videos. And may the power protect you. Ninja Storm, the Pink Ninja Ranger. Chapter 13, Boxing Bopp-A-Roo. Jenna had just walked into Storm Chargers to see Kelly and Dustin hanging a banner up while Tori watched. She walked over and tapped the boy on the shoulder, making him turn around. "Hey, Dustin." She pointed to the banner. "What's Total Trek?" "It's a competition we're running," Kelly explained as she stood next to a board that explained the course. "It starts at the skate park, then a run to the motocross track, and then an urban climb to finish." She showed the three the track as they all walked over to her. "Are you entering, Dustin?" Kelly looked at the Yellow Ranger, who scoffed. "I'm never getting on a skateboard again," he raised his hands in refusal. "I've still got bruises from last year," Dustin gestured to a bruise on his arm as they laughed. "Wasn't that there after you knocked him down in training yesterday?" Jenna asked Tori. Tori nodded, and she and Kelly laughed at the look on Dustin's face. "Kelly, right?" Jenna asked, leaning over to shake the redhead's hand. "You might not remember me, I'm Jenna Scott. Jason's little sister." "Oh, right." Kelly smiled at her, the other half of Angel Grove's Angels. Jenna put her hands on her face and groaned, "I hate that name." "What's Angel Grove's Angels?" Tori asked, grinning. "Zoey and Jenna," Kelly replied. "They took after Tommy, Jason, and all their friends with all the charity work they did in Angel Grove." She looked over and grinned at Jenna. There were park cleanups, Habitats for Humanity, community garden, recycling drives, and fundraisers. Not to mention volunteering at Big Sister programs, soup kitchens and Meals on Wheels, and the animal shelters. She placed her hand on Jenna's shoulder. "I had heard so much about them from their brothers. And it wasn't just the volunteering. They both did sports, martial arts, and cheerleading, all while maintaining a perfect grade point average." "Wow," Dustin said amazed, "that's awesome." "Yeah, I mean, I have enough trouble keeping my own grades up." Tori commented, "The fact that you two were able to do all of that and keep perfect grades is amazing." "And you were a cheerleader too?" "Thanks, Kelly." When Kelly just laughed, Jenna grinned mischievously. "You know, we did meet Kelly once before. She was trying out for cheerleading." Kelly's smile dropped. "Wanted to be just like her older cousin, Kim. She hopped up on the counter, made the team the same day as Zoey and I made our grades team." "Whoa." Dustin's eyes got wide. "Dude, Kel, you were a cheerleader." "In middle school, Dustin." Kelly glared at him. "It wasn't for me." "How about we drop the subject now?" "What subject?" a voice said behind them. They turned around to see Zoey, who had come in from the back, standing there wearing rollerblades. "Kelly being a cheerleader in middle school," Tori explained. "Jenna," Zoey sighed. "Did you call out Kelly?" Jenna just grinned. She told them about the Angel Grove Angels. "Oh, well," Zoey then shrugged. "That's okay, then." Laughing, Kelly just shoved Zoey in the shoulder before the teen joined her friend on the counter. All right. Kelly interjected. "Enough. Why don't you two sign up for the Total Trek?" "Because Total Trek involves motocross and skateboarding. Two of the few things Jenna doesn't like doing." Zoey grinned over at her best friend. "Give her any sport that involves water and snow, surfing, skiing, snowboarding, white water rafting, bobsledding, etc. You name it, she's tried it." "Hey," Jenna protested, "I also like rock climbing, base jumping, caving, skydiving, and bungee jumping." She shook her head. "If you're going to call me out, at least give them everything. Besides, I can ride a motocross bike, it just doesn't call to me." "Hey, Kelly, you got an entry form for my kickflip challenged friend here?" Before Zoey could respond to her, Shane and Hunter walked in, with Shane smirking at Hunter. Individual? Kelly looked to the blonde as she held the forms in her hand. Or are you doing the team competition? She asked, looking at Shane, and both scoffed loudly. Us? Together? Hunter started laughing. You got a better chance of seeing me on blade skates, Shane told the red-haired woman with a smirk. Excuse me. Zoey exclaimed, insulted, what's wrong with rollerblades? She pointed to the rollerblades she was wearing. Shane looked panicked as he looked at her. Everyone else backed up, not wanting to get caught in the line of fire. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, they're cool and all, for you, and you're amazing, it's just not for me, see? All right. Stop before you dig yourself to China and can't get back. Kelly rolled her eyes, I was just asking anyways, and held out the form to Hunter. And, you're the second one to sign up. Who was first? Hunter asked curiously, and Kelly glanced to Shane with a grin. The Red Ranger brushed imaginary dust from Hunter's shoulder as he looked at him. You're toast, dirt boy, Shane mocked, making the others laugh. Wait. Do you hear that? Hunter walked over to him as he stopped. It sounds like your hopes and dreams coming crashing down around you, he smirked and walked away. Shane scowled, and followed as the others kept laughing. And here we see the alpha males in their natural habitat, Jenna nodded. Honestly. She looked around as Zoey took a form from Kelly. You gonna do it, she grinned at Zoey, who smiled back. Though I prefer my skates, I can hold my own on a board. Comes from years of practice with snowboards and the dirt track in Stone Canyon. And I know I can beat Hunter on a bike. Dustin stopped her before she could finish. Whoa. Have you seen him race? The guy's one step down from a factory pro. Yes, Dustin. I have. She patted him on the shoulder, don't worry about it. Let's face it, those two are gonna be so focused on each other, they won't even see her shoot past them to the finish line. Jenna finished, giving Zoey a high five. You know, Dustin shook his head at Tori, Zoey was scary before. But now that Jenna is here with her, I'm terrified. Zoey just giggled and just swung her legs on the counter. Hunter clipped on his helmet and braced himself on the skateboard, before pushing down the tiny ramp. As soon as it met level ground, Hunter tumbled off it, and both Jenna and Blake tried not to laugh. So, what do you call that? Blake asked as he helped his groaning brother up off the ground. I'm just getting loose, Hunter grumbled. Yeah. So is your board, bro, Blake taunted, and Jenna giggled as she walked over to hug her boyfriend. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, I'm good. It's just, I gotta beat this guy. I don't care what I have to do, Hunter told them in frustration. My advice to you? Get a stunt double, Blake taunted, and Hunter rolled his eyes. He skated off again and fell straight off. You need to keep your knees bent and lean forward, Zoey told him as she rolled over on her rollerblades. Huh? He looked confused. Look, have you ever gone surfing? She asked. What does that have to do with skateboarding? Hunter asked confused. The first skateboards were wooden crates and boards with roller skate wheels attached. In the late 1940s to the early 1950s, surfers wanted something to do when the waves went flat. They called it sidewalk surfing. Okay, he said in confusion, what's your point? My point? She asked, you're overthinking it. She clipped her helmet back on and took off for a ramp. She started pulling off tricks only seen in competitions. She finished by doing a backflip off the biggest ramp in the park. The brothers just stared as Jenna laughed. My partner in crime, boys. She grabbed her boyfriend by his arm. Come on, Thunder Boy. This surfer's gonna try her best to make sure you don't break something. All right, you gotta balance yourself on the bike, Dustin was explaining, as Shane got himself all set up, okay? Not too far forward, not too far back. But the Red Ranger wasn't taking a scrap of notice of their Yellow Ranger who was trying to help him, only focusing on beating Hunter. Shane? Zoey said, who had just walked over to them. Earth to Shane. She knocked him upside his helmet. Shane finally looked up. What? Have you heard a thing I just said? Dustin asked. Look, Shane said, all I gotta know is how to beat Hunter. Zoey just laughed. Shane, Hunter just turned down an offer from Factory Blue. You're not going to beat him on the bike. Your advantage is going to be the skate park. Now, you drive a tsunami cycle, shaking his shoulder, she continued, so why are you having so much trouble driving this thing? Well, he's getting better. Somewhat. The Yellow Ranger nodded, and Zoey grinned. But nowhere near Hunter's level. He turned back to his friend. Man, you're crazy going up against him. She's right, the only training you've had on a bike is your tsunami cycle, he reminded him. Just imagine it's your cycle and you're trying to outrun some Kelsaks. Yeah. Shane said. Go for it, man. Wish me luck. He revved the engine and pulled off. You're not gonna tell him that you're entering the contest? Dustin inquired of Zoey. They looked as Shane lost control 2 minutes into the ride. He drove straight into a haystack, causing people around him to laugh. Yeah, right. She yelled as they ran to help him and ruin the surprise. Jenna was back at the skate park watching Zoey practice when their morphers went off. Zoey skated over so they can answer together. Go ahead, Cam. We need everyone back at Ninja Ops, now. Cam ordered. Shane and Hunter have encountered a new monster while training. Do we need to go help them? Zoey asked. No. They've been butting heads too much and need to learn to work together, Sensei interceded. I want everyone here, in case it becomes too much. You got it, the girls said together to make sure no one was around, and they ninja streaked away. When they got to Ninja Ops, they saw everyone standing around the mainframe. Those guys are still at it? Zoey asked as they walked over. Let me get this straight, Jenna said as everyone watched the fight. There's a kickboxing robot kangaroo bounding around Blue Bay Harbor, and they're playing Follow the Leader, she asked shaking her head. Why can't boys just learn how to gung-ho? She asked Zoey. Laughing, her friend turned to look at her. Maybe we should have our brothers have a talk with them about that. We need help here, something Sensei-like. Dustin looked to Sensei, who was standing in front of them, watching as well. They must both learn that the best quality of a leader is to understand when to be a follower, Sensei told them simply. Dudes weigh deep, especially for a rodent. Dustin grinned, and the others smiled. Hey, Zoey, I've been meaning to ask. Tori looked over at her. When we were on Portico Island, you shot some pink energy like fox thing out of your body. What was that? My animal spirit. Jenna and I are both trained in the art of Paizuk. Cam and Sensei looked up at them in surprise. When did you have time to train in a different form of martial arts? Cam asked. Wait, what's Paizuk? Tori asked as she and Dustin were looking on in confusion. It's like our academies, except they train how to fight with their animal spirit instead of their element. Blake chimed in. Jenna looked over with a raised eyebrow. What? I do study, you know. Cam. They all looked around at the computer as Shane spoke. That kangaroo clown is back for round 2. We need help. He told the genius, who nodded. Right, he spun around in his seat to look at the 4 ninjas as they stood up and lined up. Ready? Ready. Ninja Storm. Fire Storm. Ice Storm. Thunderstorm. Ranger Form.
Ha!
Power of Earth. Power of Water. Power of Fire. Power of Ice. Power of Thunder. They joined the 2 rangers already out, and the kangaroo monster turned around as they ran out to face him. "I am one maniacally mad marsupial," he declared. "What did he say?" Tori asked. "No idea." Shane shook his head. "Sorry, my alien dictionary can't translate that," Jenna said, shaking her head. "Dude, speak English," Zoey demanded. A convenient conflagratory conflagration, the wheel on his chest lit up, and he shot fire at the group. They slammed into a wall and hit the ground hard. "Bye-bye, rumblified rangers." Bopp-A-Roo laughed as they groaned. "Exceptional positivity in our current commotionness. They are fully in the grasp of my fingermints," he declared. "This is insane," Zoey complained. "Does he even understand what he's saying?" "I've had enough of this," Shane growled, and they pushed themselves to their feet. He, Dustin, and Tori combined their weapons, and Hunter and Blake did the same as Zoey and Jenna called on theirs. Storm Striker, Thunder Blaster, Fox Fire, Arctic Ice. Bopp-A-Roo cried out, stepping back in fear. Fire! Fire! The attacks combined as they flew towards the kangaroo monster, only for a shield to appear in front of him. The attack repelled and slammed into the rangers, who cried out and crashed to the ground. "What happened?" Shane demanded as he got to his feet. "Some kind of shield." Hunter frowned in confusion, breathing heavily. "I did it." They heard a familiar voice nearby and looked around quickly. "It worked. My shield worked." Mara bounced with excitement as she stood with Capri and Zergain. "How cool am I?" She beamed happily, and Capri rolled her eyes. "How lucky are you?" The pink-haired villain grumbled. "Great, the whole family's here." Tori groaned. "Who are they?" Jenna asked, as they looked from the three, back to the boxing kangaroo. "Fight now, explain later," Shane said. "Let's do this." Zergain drew his swords and Bopp-A-Roo ran at them. The group split up. While Shane and Hunter battled, Bopp-A-Roo and Tori and Dustin fought Zergain, Zoey and Jenna took on Mara and Capri. Zoey went to throw a punch at Capri, but she grabbed her fist and slashed her sword at her before getting flipped. Jenna charged Mara, but she sent her flying back with a punch to her gut. Bopp-A-Roo taught us some bucolic bigorific tricks, Mara stated as she moved to stand next to her sister. "Let's face the ruckus through rareficated roosterments," Capri said, smirking. "Did you get any of that?" Jenna asked, looking over at Zoey. "Not a word." "Hey, icebox." Jenna looked incredulously at Mara. "Oh, no she didn't." "Look deep into my eyes, Ranger brat," Mara told her as she pointed to the big blue eyes on her helmet. Jenna gasped as a purple laser shot out of it and wrapped itself around her. The laser lifted her into the air, making sparks fly out of her suit as she was slammed into the ground. "Come on," Capri challenged, looking at Zoey. "Put them up." "You got it." Zoey swung her glaive at Capri's head, but she ducked to avoid it and jumped over the Fire Ranger's head. Capri then stepped on Zoey's glaive and sent a punch at the Ranger, knocking her to the ground. "Tell you what, Capri," Zoey stated, getting rid of her glaive, "how about we settle this like real women?" She held up her arms. "What do you say?" "I say, bring it on, sister." And Capri ran at her. One-on-one, Capri had no chance against the graduated fire ninja. "Enough," Jenna called as Mara shot her lasers out again. "Try this on for size." She held out her hand, calling on her chakram, and smirked, "Frost fangs." She jumped up, avoiding the ropes, and threw the blade, "Frozen cyclone." An icy blast shot out with the chakram and circled around Mara like a twister, encasing her solid ice. "Mara," Capri called, rushing over after her own defeat to her sister, "I'm gonna make you pay for that, icebox." "It's a shame that my blade has to recharge, Pinky," Jenna snarled. "Catch the blade as it came back to her, or I'd let you join her." Zoey nudged her, impressed. Oh, I love that thing. That might come in handy later. You think? Oh, yeah. Nearby, Hunter passed his power to Shane, who channeled it in his sword. Using the intense power, Shane knocked Bopp-A-Roo to the ground. Everyone finished their respective fights and regrouped to face off against Bopp-A-Roo. Ready? Shane called as they combined their weapons again. Totally. Hunter and Blake combined their weapons as Zoey and Jenna called on theirs. Not so fast. Capri called as they stepped in front of the kangaroo. You thought hers was good? Try mine, she smirked, and created a powerful shield that blocked them. That looks pretty strong, Tori gulped. What now? Shane wondered, knowing that if Mara's had repelled their 4 attacks, then an even more powerful shield would do exactly the same. What if we combined all of our weapons? Hunter suggested, and they all looked at him in surprise. Hey, that might work. Shane nodded. Zoey looked at Jenna, think we can combine your fan blades to my bow? Jenna nodded, it's worth a shot. Let's do it. Everyone combined and aimed at the shield. Arctic flame shot. Thunderstorm cannon. Capri paled, now looking nervous, spoke, oh, look at those things. Let's get out of here, the pink-haired girl yelled, and she, Mara and Zergain teleported off, taking Bopp-A-Roo by surprise. Huh? My buddies have bailed, he cried out. Ready? Full power, they fired the powerful attack at him, and it easily shattered the shield, and destroyed Bopp-A-Roo. They cheered, before Bopp-A-Roo reappeared in giant form. Cam, Zord time. Shane called into his morpher. On their way. Cam told them, and the 6 Zords arrived on the battlefield. I'll catch you guys back at Ninja Ops. Jenna said before ninja streaking off. I've got bouncification for the 3 of ya. Bopp-A-Roo called as the Wind and Thunder Rangers formed their Megazords. They summoned their Serpent Swords as Zoey called on her glaive. I'm feelin' a punchy, the kangaroo declared as he ran at them. They each swung their weapons, but he blocked them and knocked them back. I'm a hot hoppin' a heat hurler, he threw more fire at them, and they cried out. Shane, Hunter. Call the mini Zord. Cam told them quickly, sending them their discs. Zoey, here comes your bow. Ready guys? Shane called as he lifted his. Oh yeah. Hunter nodded. Zoey grinned. Let's do this. Locked and dropped, they called on their separate pieces that combined to make Mini Zord. I am Mini Zord. Thunderstorm Megazord formation, engaged, the 2 Zords combined to make their much more powerful Megazord. Whoa. Lion laser. Fox fire. Zoey and Shane called out as they fired their weapons at Bopp-A-Roo. This pouch is poached, he cried as it overwhelmed him. Zoey, Jenna and Shane were standing next to each other watching Hunter at the track. He and Shane had decided to compete at the Total Trek as a team. Hey, Zoey. Dustin, Blake, and Tori ran over to them. Congratulations. Dustin grinned, looking down at the trophy at her feet. Dude, first place, he told her, that's excellent, man. Thanks guys, she nodded, as the others congratulated her. A part of me really wanted to take on Shane and Hunter though. She said grinning. You know, Blake, we could have entered together. I bet we could have beaten them. Zoey smirked, and Blake laughed as Dustin shook his head. No way man, Dustin said, as he and Shane laughed. Have you seen him? They looked out to where Hunter was dominating the race. He is ripping it up, man, they cheered and clapped as he passed the finish line. And there's no way you could have taken me on. Shane commented before he went to join Hunter for the final run. Everyone ran over to watch the urban climb to the finish. Go for it guys. Blake called, and the 2 reached the finish at the top, inciting more cheering. And the winner of this year's Total Trek is the team of Shane and Hunter. Kelly announced, holding a large trophy for them to take. Not bad. Tori pushed the trophy up so she could stand between them. Yeah, but mine's bigger. Zoey smirked as Hunter swung his arm around her neck. That's a singles trophy, Shane complained. Of course, it's bigger. Your brother is going to have to find somewhere to put it. He doesn't have anything designated for trophies at his house. She smiled up at her boyfriend. Just remember, boys, Jenna linked her arm with Zoey's. It took two of you to get first place. She did it all by herself. Yeah, well, Hunter shrugged. It was good for us, you know? Teamwork and all. Yeah. We're trying to learnify with great knowledgeness, Shane told them with a grin. What? The girls asked, not understanding a word he said. We're starting to hang together better, Hunter explained, and the two shook hands. As soon as they clapped their hands together, their grins dropped and they began to try and force each other back, making the others groan. At least it's a start, Tori sighed, shaking her head, and they walked away, leaving the two to fight it out. Master Mao asked me if I was ready to take the master's test. Jenna commented as she and Zoey rollerblade down the bike path. Zoey stopped and looked at her. What did you say? She asked, curious. I told him I wasn't sure if I was ready. Jenna looked at her. I mean, you and I have always done everything together. Looking unsure of herself, she continued. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do something this big by myself. Not without you. Zoey just put her arm around her. Look, Jenna. You're my best friend. Always have been. You're right, we've always done everything together. It's been that way since I moved to Angel Grove. Turning her around, she continued, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean we can't do our own thing sometimes. I know. Jenna agreed, looking at her. I mean, I did go to Europe without you. That is very true. Laughing, they started down the path. Look, I'll get my stripes one day. When I'm ready. But you've spent more time at the academy than I have. Your sensei started you a few years before me. That's probably why Master Mao has already asked you. She smirked. Besides, my fiery nature makes it difficult for me to get along with certain boneheaded bullies, which causes me not to want to be there. Oh, you mean a Mr. Big and Bad senior student who always seems to enjoy picking on the cubs? Jenna shook her head as they turned the corner. He's such a jerk. And he can't stand you. I assure you, the feeling is quite mutual. Zoey's cell rang before they could say anything else. Hold on. Grinning, she answered, go for Zoey. Hey, handsome. Whatcha doing? She paused for a moment. Oh, come on, Mr. Loner. What's it going to hurt to visit your sister? It's not like she lives in a group home or anything. Zoey paused, looking over as Jenna just laughed. It's only Briarwood, for crying out loud. That town's pretty boring. Nothing ever happens. Smirking, Jenna murmured, famous last words. Besides the weird rumors about their forest. Yeah, I get it. Alright, well, rolling her eyes, Zoey continued, put it off for the next year or two. Say you're taking a break from school to figure out what you want to do, and you just want to travel around for a bit. They can't really argue with that. You're paying for your own schooling. Of course I'm right. I'm your girlfriend. I'm always right. She laughed, not to mention my higher than average IQ. She paused. I love you too. By Nomad. Jenna yelled. Zoey chuckled. I'll tell her. Bye. Tell me what? That he hates my guts? Jenna grinned, looking at her friend. No. He does not hate you any more than you hate him. She shrugged, he said, and I quote, tell her she's a fun-filled little lollipop triple dipped in psycho, unquote. Laughing, they started skating again. Aw, he does care about me. That's it for Chapter 13 of Ninja Storm, the Pink Ninja Ranger. I'll be having a lot more of this series out soon, continuing the Pink Ranger story. Remember, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. As always, may the power protect you, and see you for the next adventure.